to the Louie Bellina Show. Thursday, a new day. If you're an Aggie basketball fan, you can breathe again. Welcome to the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric. Let me share with you the blueprint. This is how we're going to do between now and 2 o'clock. At 11:35, a listen-in. Bucky met with the media after the win after Ole Miss last night. He was fired up. The word giddy was said by more than one person. He came out there and just said it. And the way he said it, it was a must-win last night. He said, I didn't even tell the team this. It was a must-win. Fired up, a bit giddy, flying high after stealing one from the Rebels. So at 11:35, a listen-in, Bucky McMillan after the dub. At 12 o'clock, we head out on the D4 Land Services hotline, and we hang out. This was explained to me not very well, but we will hang out with one of, if not the coolest man on the planet, Cedric Golden of the Austin American-Statesman. 12 o'clock. We do it every Thursday. He's also the Texas Sports Writer of the Year, Cedric Golden of the Austin American-Statesman. At 12:35, I got to listen in for you, Trisha Ford, A&M softball head coach. Aggie softball begins play today in the Cathedral City Classic. This is one of the toughest weekends, non-postseason, that Aggie softball's ever had. They're taking on number 14 Oregon, number 14 Duke today, number 8 Nebraska Saturday. Nebraska has played the toughest schedule in the country of any softball team today. Yeah, I know it's 2 weekends deep, but they played Texas twice. They played like the number 1 team in the country already. Nebraska is challenging themselves. And then they do play like the former number 1, current number 7 UCLA on Sunday. 4 teams, 2 in the top 10. The other 2 are number 14. That's what's up ahead for Aggie softball, who's number 14, 11, or 13, depending on what poll you look at. Trisha Ford, a weekend preview, 11:35. At 1 o'clock, a lot of Louie Bellina show today, okay? Prepare accordingly. At 1 o'clock, we head back out on the D4 Land Services hotline. Rusty Burson, who is an Aggie author. He's an Aggie historian and author. He does a lot. Rusty Burson joins us on the D4 Land Services hotline. And the final 2 parts of our Thursday equation. 1, text me. Aggie Hoops, did you survive last night? Aggie baseball, fired up for the weekend. Aggie football, who's not always fired up for Aggie football? You can text me at 979-693-1150. 979-693-1150. You'll hit send. I'll see what's up inside the Texas Mobile One Lube Express inbox. Texas Mobile One Lube Express, owned by Gabriel Garcia. Text now, 979-693-1150. Questions, comments, or opinions are always welcome. Participation generally goes rewarded here on the Louie Bellina Show. Text 979-693-1150. Also, here in the first hour, before we hit 12 o'clock, we're going to register the next person for a chance to win tickets to go see Creed at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. It's kind of a Louie Bellina Show tradition if you think about it. We always send you to go see somebody at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. Over the years, we had tickets to Journey. We had tickets to see the, oh man, my brain has escaped me, but it was on their reunion tour. Turnpike Troubadours. And it's Creed. This year it is Creed. And this is all thanks to Grocholski Sausage Company. Grocholski Sausage Company, they now have 2 locations, South Main Street, Bremont, South Main Street, Calvert. And if you're looking for the old ways, I'm talking about original recipes, Polish style, since 1952. And they're into that community, local kind of thing. Every day they have some kind of special. They just do something that had a wild idea. Let's do some barbecue chicken today. You never know. That's why I check them out on social media. They'll send you photos going, oh, we have the sirloins today. That's Grohalski Sausage Company. So listen in. It's going to happen before 12 o'clock. I'm telling you. We'll register the next person. Let us begin. Aggie baseball. They're down. They're floating dead in the water. They're down 13 points at one point in the second half. Nobody has the hot hand. They look like they're a turnover machine. They still look tired. You need a hero. Someone has to step up. A couple of someone stepped up in this game. Reuben Dominguez, like most shooters, they kind of need to hit that first shot. And once they get that feel, you know they're going to make a couple more. And Reuben Dominguez did not go off for 30. But he went off for 9 points at the end of the game. Ole Miss is not a good team. They couldn't run away and hide. They couldn't get up 16. They couldn't get up 20. They had an injury down the stretch, which stopped them from expanding on their lead or trying to hold serve. But Reuben scored 13 points, with 9 of them during the comeback. And I said there were a couple of heroes. Zach Clemence. I talked about him, a guy who was coming off of the bench, a guy who in the non-con played almost no minutes because he has been a fascinating watch. Even back in the non-con when his minutes were min, you could tell there's something there with him. And you could tell how far he needed to come. But he's always been active. He's always been a guy that stands out on the court. Clemence comes up with 14 points. During the comeback, the stretch in which they got over the hump of the comeback, Clemence, who I have been very consistent in my opinion about his defense, he stepped in front of the guy he was guarding for the key steal, comes down the court, follows up with the bucket on the other end. He puts up 14 points, but for a tired team, he's one of the few players that actually doesn't look tired. And at this point, he's one of the players that kind of has to be out on the court because now that the others have slowed down, he's as fast as all of them. No matter what deficiency, slow getting over anything, he brings energy that they desperately need. He is a scoring machine for them. He's, at this point in time, one of their 3 or 2 or 3 no worse than consistent scorers. So, as this game was fading away, it was Dominguez and Clemence. Final 7 minutes of the game, combining for 15 points. The Aggies finishing has been a problem for them. They haven't been able to do that consistency, but in the final 7 minutes, they went on the 19-6 run to win the game by 3. If I'm not mistaken, like in the final 2.5 minutes, they outscored Ole Miss like 9-0. In the final 2.5, 19-6 in the final 7. That's how they overcame a 13-point deficit. That's how they stole one from Ole Miss. That's how they survived, kept the NCAA tournament hopes alive. People, I don't think they did it through Bucky ball. This was through grit. This was through heart. This really didn't. To me, this wasn't through Bucky ball and system stuff. They are surviving. They are fighting. They're doing it through heart. They're doing it through determination. Ole Miss didn't have that height advantage. They didn't have the strength advantage. The normal things that all year has plagued A&M. But now that they can't use their speed because they're dead-legged, mentally fogged with the dead legs, that advantage is now exponential. Ole Miss had 4 offensive rebounds. There's some games we've been watching recently in which that's one possession for some of A&M's opponents. They get 3 offensive rebounds. A&M had 37 boards. Ole Miss had 23. And yet Ole Miss had a 13-point lead at 1/2. A&M was well on the way to losing this one, even with those disadvantages. In the end, there's a simple fact of this game. A&M won a game they had to. How? Because in the final 7 minutes, 2 players stepped up. Dominguez found his shot, and Clemence did what he's been doing, but Ole Miss did not have someone to burn him defensively and even out a scoring to balance that. The only player that had been got hurt for Ole Miss. So they stopped making Clemence pay. Rashawn Agee had a double-double, but he had 4 turnovers. And you could see the weight of the season that has worn down Rashawn Agee. I was talking to a friend of mine last night. The simple fact is they will get their legs back. Players go tired, the fatigue kicks in, they go dead-legged. That doesn't last for 6 months. They're going to come out on the other side. You just need it to happen sooner versus later. They come out on the other side. Jakari Lane, at one point, I think was the second most valuable player behind Rashawn Agee. He's basically been swallowed by the fatigue. His height disadvantage is increasing. He needs to find his second win, his second legs. Pop Isaacs, remember we were talking about the growth he'd make, how well he's fit into the system. -1 game during the stretch. He's turned into this turnover machine. At one point, he had 2 turnovers in 20 seconds, leading to Ole Miss's separation run. And here's what he's trying too hard again. Or is he just moving so much faster than everyone else that it's just not a fit right now? When you watch this A&M team, it looks like you have different players at different levels and dead-legged, and some have energy still, and they are so out of sync with each other. But if we stick to last night, they won a game that they just had to win. And the how is 100% irrelevant. I said it before, so I'm not hindsighting. But if they lost last night, I said they were not going to make the NCAA tournament. This would be the poison arrow game. Yes, if they would have went 5-0. I know there's the single-digit percentage is exception to everything. I was sticking with, I think, the base reality. And I also think the last night's game pointed out how rough the Aggie basketball team has it right now. That's a bad Ole Miss team. But they did. And I think about sports in all its beauty. And you could point to games you never should have lost. Games that the refs screwed you. Games that your favorite player or your favorite team's player do things they never do. Only time that season, that game is that one game, and you lose because of that one thing, and you can't even be mad. You just get frustrated. I have no problem with stealing a game because there's so many times, so many games that you lose you never should have. So to steal one, yeah, I got no problem with it. Question for you. Do you think you were sitting on the couch like me and just finding yourself in a sports context praying that the Aggies would figure this out? Because that's what I was, in a sports context. With all my will, with all my fiber of being. Normally I watch a game, and I'm not going to sit there and say I'm doing technical analysis the whole game. But I'm sitting there, okay, they need to trap better, swap better. They need to shoot more threes. They need to just basic 101 stuff, okay? Not last night. Because they were playing Aggie basketball at such a low level that there was no answer. I'm just sitting there going like, hey, I'm not sure of the what anymore. But just any player has to figure this. Any player needs to find a burst of inspiration, a burst of energy. That's it. The only answer is like some individuals, it's not even team anymore, has got to figure this out and just win this game. And as the time in the second half started winding down, it just started getting darker and darker. And then they went on the run. Reuben hit that first shot. And Zach Clemence has been hitting his shots. His offense looks smooth. His release is so quick. And you could see him set up his own shots. And there was 1 point whatever or 7, and Ole Miss had the ball. And I'm telling you, my brain went dark on me. I'm like, oh, we've seen this. The other team with the ball in a 1 point game, but no, not this time, because they were Ole Miss. Aggies win. Aggies win. Aggies win in the NCAA tournament. Hope stay alive. And I'm cheering like they win the Super Bowl. We'll be back. Text me if you have an emotion or thought you want to throw out there. 979-693-1150. You can light up the Texas Mobile and Lube Express inbox. The conversation has just begun. It's the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric on a Thursday on The Zone.
You can hear Aggie baseball online at RadioAggieland.com. RadioAggieland.com.
The Louie Bellina Show from inside the Charles Schwab studio. Let me lay out for you the blueprint. This is the plan. 11:35, listen in. Bucky post dub over Ole Miss. 11:55-ish. I'm going to register today, one per day, this week, next week. I'm going to register somebody, put them on the list. They're going to have a chance to win a pair of tickets to go see Creed at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, thanks to Grachalski Sausage Company. They've been doing like artisan processing, and they got their own recipes, sausage and more. Man, they're that old school community. They every day have a different, barbecue chicken. Sirloin steaks. Look at what we found in the freezer. Following them on social media is cool if you're into that kind of thing, which I am. They've been at it since 1952. Listen in, 11:53, 11:54. We're going to register today. Each day is one person. 12 o'clock. Cedric Golden of the Austin American-Statesman on the D4 Land Services Hotline. 1 o'clock. 12:35. Trisha Ford, a preview of the Cathedral City Classic, in which the Aggies take on 2 top 10 teams and 2 more top 15 teams. All starts today at 2:30 with the Oregon Ducks, number 14 in the country. You can hear that game on Willie, 1550 a.m. and at RadioAggieland.com. There's more. 1 o'clock, Rusty Burson. Aggie historian and author, Rusty Burson. There's a lot of Louie Bellina Show. We're just getting started. Text messages. I've been sharing my thoughts, how I feel, and, well, what about you? Juan says, was really fighting the urge to turn the game off, but fortunately I fought it off and watched the Ags pull off the dub. I don't turn off many games. I don't leave games when I'm at them. This game, I didn't want to, I'm not going to turn it off. I knew I was going to talk about it with you, but it was very hard to watch. Ole Miss is bad, and A&M was playing worse. And for me, here's what made it painful, knowing if they lost that the greatness that was in front of them impossible, which if Aggie basketball goes to the NCAA tournament, Bucky pulled off a miracle by taking 14. Remember something, because you've heard this will be the 2 millionth time. He came in late in the portal. Was it 93 of the top 100 portal players were already committed? Late in the process, Buzz gutted the team. Bucky inherited one player who did not play. He put together 14 players, and the top player he took, who's an NBA prospect, does not play for the team. If he takes this team to the NCAA tournament, it's one of the most incredible coaching jobs you've seen. And a lot of people are going to lessen that concept because, they went 7-1 and now look at, screw that. It lessens nothing if he takes this team to the NCAA tournament. And I just want that. I guess you've picked up on that if you hang out with me daily here on the Louie Bellina Show. I don't want that dream dead. And that's what was happening for 30 minutes plus last night. And watching Ole Miss, and I'm like, not to them. That was what was in my head. Not like this. And they pulled it off. Go Bucky ball. More text messages from Bentley. I'm no basketball guru. Me neither, Bentley. Me neither. I noticed that the Ags just couldn't get inside. Seemed like a lot of threes missed the mark. The 12th man in the last 4 minutes was insanely loud. Oof! What a victory, Bentley. Signed Bentley. Bentley, they did get inside. No. But they've been missing during this losing streak and even the win last night. They can't hit the layups. One of the more fascinating question mark on word choice things about watching Aggie basketball, the losing streak, and this game, they're not able right now. And it's part of why the offense is struggle bus. All the missed shots are making it harder to play defense. And while they're dead-legged, you don't need to make everything you do twice as hard. Oh, that's the Black Crow song. But you don't, and they are. And it's this one basic thing. They can't make the easy shots. They just, and layups are called layups. Do you know they went 5 of 13 in the first half on layups? I don't mean forced shots, guarded shots. I don't mean miracle shots. I don't mean throwing it up behind your back. They went 5 of 13 on layups. Is anything short of 10 of 12 on layups acceptable? They're not supposed to be this big, like contested thing where 70% even's acceptable on layups. Is anything short of 98 on a layup? They went 5 of 13. They beat Missouri if they hit their layups. They beat Alabama if they make their layups. So they're currently existing in a state, Aggie basketball, that they don't make layups. They're not even getting their threes off, and they're missing the threes they do take. It is rough out there. So when you say you notice they couldn't get inside, no. I think they are. But as they're missing layups, guess what? You're hesitating. You're hesitating. So I wouldn't be stunned if we do a analysis and they're taking less because now they're missing easy and they're hesitating. So it's rough. I mean, there's a reason why they lost 4 straight. There's a reason why they had to rally from 13 down against Ole Miss. Text message, Tony, left church with the Aggies down by 10 and 4 minutes left to go home. and 4 minutes left when he got home. Aggies are up by 1 with 0.75 seconds left, which didn't they change it on the clock to 1 point something? Good thing you left church then. Nothing against church. Jim, I'm grateful I could only catch the last 5 to 6 minutes of last night's game. Well, you came in for the good times, Jim. You kind of cheated to an extent. Because the first 30 plus were torture. It really was, because you got the announcers who I think 10 to 20 times said Bucky gave him 2 days off. And you're like, whoa, that had no impact. Because they were still tired and basic things that you've seen them done all year, they're just not capable of right now. And by the way, I do want to be clear about something. This isn't being said in a complaint way. I understand reality. I understand, even if Bucky's played 9 or 10, you look at how the minutes are distributed. Inside, Vincent, Federico have not worked out at all. AG's just had too much load on him. Bucky's not been able to manage the way he's wanted to or match up the way he's wanted to. And he's going to play his 40 minutes the way Bucky ball had to be played. So I understand what's happening. No one should be mad at this team. They're dead-legged. It's not some choice by the players. If you watched them during this stretch. Did you ever just sit there and go, they're not trying? Because that would be an awful take, incorrect and wrong. But they just can't move at the speed they did. And it creates that kind of lag, some human latency, where you know what you want to do, but you find yourself executing it half a step slower than when you're thinking it, and you're getting there a full step slower than you used to. And then you don't know what to do. Your mind's processing, why didn't I get there? But then you're supposed to already be somewhere else. And it's not just one player. It's 4 maybe. Well, hell, that's half your rotation. That's just what's happening. For me, layups, though. How are you missing layups? And because they're missing layups and they're having trouble, and because other teams during that stretch are like more physical, etc., they're not going to, even in last night's win, they only took like 8 free throws in the second half. This team was attacking the rim or shooting threes. That's Bucky ball, one of the two. And they're just not moving fast enough or even aggressive enough to, the word attack doesn't necessarily apply anymore. Again, get your second win, get your legs back under you, and they will. I know very few teams that went dead-legged and then, oh, that was it. Year was over. They packed up and went home. I don't think it works that way. Question mark in my own head. All right, couple more quick text messages. Tom Satan Martin. Lou, I love your take on Aggie basketball making the tournament. This team is setting the foundation for future teams, and their willingness to grind out that victory last night is exactly what they need to be doing. They're going to have to grind out anything they get until there's a second. And here's the thing. Just give certain players right now that second win. If Rashawn Agee wakes up Friday and says, I'm back, they beat Oklahoma and LSU, no problem. And that's all they need to do to make the tournament in my concept, in my head, my mind, the way I look at it. They just need it 10, and I think they're safely in. And then if Chikari Lane comes back, if Reuben is back, he could carry this team to those 2 wins. So, and then players can trickle back in between those key players. I believe. I think that's the way I see it. So, and I stick by that this team, they just got to make the tournament. And it would be great. See, that's the thing. The whole thing is not a complete failure and horrible and the world is ending if they miss, but because they'll go to the NIT if they miss. But just don't forget how this happened, where this started. Buzz burnt the program to the ground. Bucky inherited one player who never played. When he took over, I believe 93 of the top 100 in the portal were committed. The best player in his class, the NBA prospect, didn't even play this year. You take this group of players to the NCAA tournament, one of the greatest coaching jobs in A&M history. Single season, if you want me to be very specific. I want that. I want greatness. I want that statement that's undeniable. That's why I'm cheering so hard. Maybe that's why I'm so intense at times. I want to see it. And at the 7-1 start, they set that up. I'm not dreaming of national championships and Final Fours. I just want that dream, that statement to happen for Bucky McMillan and Aggie basketball. That statement can get you NIL money, can get you the commitment you need. That can make some of the donors step up. That might get you enough fans that you can get ticket prices and, seriously, that's the kind of stuff you need to make those dreams come true, yeah? I think the answer is yeah. When we come back, I've been sharing a lot of how I feel. I've shared some of your text messages, how you feel. Time to hear from Bucky. And again, I've seen reporters describe him as fired up and giddy when he spoke last night. You got to hear this one. This is when we say that was a must win. I think this might be the must listen of all the Bucky post games. That's what's up next here on the Louie Bellina Show. I'm inside the Charles Schwab studio here on the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric on the Zone on Thursday.
This is Bryan College Station's only all-sports station, The Zone. 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
The Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric, built on faith, family, and community. That is CC Electric. Time now to listen in. Bucky McMillan, Aggie basketball head coach. You probably know that. He spoke. Boy, did he speak. after the dub over Ole Miss.
Had to have it, man. Had to have it. It was like an NCAA tournament game right there. I've never been 7 games away and felt like the NCAA tournament just started, you know. But anyway, about the game, incredible win. I know we could say whatever. Hey, we could have shot it better, finished better, all that. But our fight was there. I told our players that was more than anything about who they are as people, because we were down by 10. You're kind of looking up. There are enough possessions in this game to win this thing. And our guys really, you know, a lot of times in that spot you'll see some players afraid to stick their neck out because their head may get chopped off, right? Because they don't want to be the guy to cost yourself the game. And I think our guys all knew the implications of that game. You know, I think they all knew that. We needed to win that game or put ourselves in a tough situation. And you saw some guys out there playing to win the game. You didn't see anybody playing not to lose the game. And that's what it took. I thought Ole Miss played great, really, really good. Obviously, Dia was amazing, and Store was great. They made some tough shots in the game. Obviously, we didn't shoot our highest percentage from 3, but kept hanging around in the game. And I think we'll remember this game as one of the key wins in our season.
How I'm trying to think of the right description, or just how appropriate was it that last 9-0 run to win got started with Reuben finally hitting a 3. He's been struggling, and then you guys like Clemence and Rashawn has done it for you all year.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I mentioned this, and this is one thing we all got to remember. Because people ask about Reuben, he hadn't shot it well. You got to remember, guys, a season is a long season. It's a long season. And if I told y'all that Reuben, we have a guy on our team that's going to shoot 41.5% from 3, would be one of the top 3-point shooters in the country, what would we say? We wouldn't say, well, he missed some of the last couple of games. What if we said before SEC play, we'd have 9 wins with, we got here 5 games to play? What would we say? We'd say, oh, really? We got 5 games to play? Is that right?
8 wins with 5.
8 with 5, sorry. 8 wins with 5 to play. Scott, always got to do that to me. 8 wins with 5 to play, sorry. But what would we say? We'd say we got a great opportunity in front of us. You know what I'm saying? And so all those guys through the course of the season have played great basketball. Sean and Reuben, we're going to ride with them.
What did you see from your defense there down the stretch where you guys were finally able to string some stops together?
Well, it was interesting because with about 13 minutes, we're like, guys, everybody needs to calm down in here. When we came out the half, we weren't supposed to be trapping. We were supposed to be picking up, guarding hard. And we missed some shots, and we had a couple just guys kind of go rogue a little bit and trap and gave up a couple points there. We weren't even supposed to be right there. Then we turned it back up, and one of those Rashawn trapped in the corner. That was a call. That was on me. But we had to tell our guys there's plenty of time left in this game. And I think that in some of these games, we try to hit that home run play. We'll be down by 6 with 4 minutes left, and we feel we got to go steal it right there. And so we saw a lot more discipline on defense to say, hey, man, listen, just play solid in these spots, okay? We're going to deny them up there. We may get a turnover, and we did. We got a couple up there that were key turnovers, 10-second calls, but we were solid getting stops. The game was won in that game, though, guys and girls, was offensive rebounding won the game. Our challenge for this game was keep the ball, but you can't out of the paint. We didn't do the best job of that, even though they made some tough ones. Deny really hard on that pressure because we thought it'd take its toll late, hopefully, on them. Them having to work. And then if you're not crashing the offensive glass, you're coming out. You're coming out of the game. And we had 16 extra opportunities, which was 12 more than they had. That was a huge deal in the game. We don't win it without that.
No bigger offensive rebound than that. I guess that last one it was Josh that ran that one down.
Was it Josh? Yeah, it was Josh. It was Josh or Zach. Yep, that's right. And that was good. Now we're in a real dilemma there because we had this is a wild how that game unfolded. We were sitting there late, and just so y'all can see the coach's mind, see, I'm going to put you in my crazy mind here. So we're sitting there when we're getting these stops, and we have timeouts. But yet they have their small lineup on the floor for offense. And we got Reuben and Zach out there. So we're sitting there we're like, did we burn a timeout to set something up, or do we keep letting them play because we have a size advantage to go to Reuben and Zach? to Rashawn and Zach right here. And so as that back and forth, the possession before last, we decided not to call it, throw it inside. They doubled. We got a good look from Ollie. But it was a really tough decision there. I'm not sure which one's the right one. There's really, really close one. To end the game, we went zone there late. We just said we're not going to let Story beat us, and we're not going to let them score it at the rim. Now, because I'm sure I'll get asked this question, at Auburn, we missed a free throw after we missed our first one, right? We could have tied the game up to make it a 3-point game. We decided to miss the free throw down there in Auburn in that situation. Why? We had four players, including Fetty, with 4 fouls on them. They had all the momentum, and we're going to have to go win on the road in overtime. I thought the chances of Auburn were very, very low. I didn't think there was any way we were going to lose that game in overtime. I think there's any way we're going to lose that game in overtime. So we told Sean, make them. If they make a 3, we'll just beat them in overtime. So, not that you asked, I'm just telling.
And on Tuesday, you talked a little bit about just kind of getting at any point at this time of the season, there'd be a lot of fatigue set in. The way that your team played defense at the end, does that encourage you that they can find that extra gear when they need it?
Look, I thought that we were really strong late. Now, both teams shot a very high percentage from the field in the second half. They shot 55, we shot 61. But I swear I felt we looked fresh. I felt good if we were going to overtime. I thought we were getting there at will. Obviously, they had some of their guys play a lot of minutes in that game. We were pretty rounded. Rashawn looked tired out there at times, but we don't win that game unless we just give an incredible effort. Vanderbilt was our worst effort game, and I'm going to put it on me. I didn't do a good job getting the recovery right for them. I mean, they're coming to me in the first 4 minutes of the game like, I can't feel my legs. Not complaining, just like, Coach, I need a sub. And I've never seen Rashawn like that. Rashawn was tired at some point tonight, but we had fight and we had energy to us, right? We had energy to us. Even when we were missing a lot of those shots around the rim, we kept fighting.
First half, not a great shooting percentage from 3. Was it a concerted effort to kind of try to get it into the paint in the second half, or was that just kind of was open because a lot of points for layups?
Well, they were switching a lot, so we had to exploit that when they switched by going inside with it on their switches. Ole Miss, what they do, they take away the rim. They're like us. They're not the tallest team. We know that. So they try to really take away the rim, make you make threes. Usually I'm happy with that. We didn't shoot it as well as we normally do tonight. We didn't finish as well as we do. But they do a good job taking away the rim. We had to exploit their switches by you can exploit them 2 ways, which is clear out, give space at the top so the guards can create, and we had a couple possessions like that, or throw it to the mismatch down low. And our guys took what was there, and I thought that's where Zach and Rashawn had some good buckets, and we had some good offensive rebounds because we were big on the rebound.
You guys were down by as much as 13, and it seemed like y'all couldn't get it to within 6 until like 5 or 6 minutes left for the longest time. Did you ever kind of lose confidence, and what do you think maybe flipped ultimately kind of in that stretch? We
could not score coming out it's some parts coming out the half when we'd cut into it. Like we kind of cut into it and we'd miss a bunny. You know what I'm saying? And you get in this weird game where you're trying to figure out this score and what's called for on defense. How aggressive do we get on defense? Do we need to change the game on defense? How comfortable are they? We couldn't take them out of their comfort zone. Either way. Like if we pressed them, they were getting some layups. If we didn't trap them, they just rock us down late in the clock, and they felt very comfortable throughout that deal. If we went zone, we'd lose a rotation. So I was just saying, guys, we're going to score enough points, but we got to find a way to get stops in this game, and it can't be them racking us over and over. When we started to get some stops in that game, I knew we'd be able to score the ball because I thought that we had them in a good spot. I thought our guys were pretty fresh there. We'd be able to score it late.
What do you see from Zach? I mean, this is a guy who, didn't really play much at Kansas, and now in critical possessions down the stretch, you're going to him for key buckets, and he's averaging over 14 a game these last 3 games. Is this what you envisioned or more when you brought him in?
Yeah, I mean, he's only going to keep improving. I think he fits how we play because he can shoot it and stretch the defense. Zach has just, if y'all get to interview, like y'all get to talk to him, I mean, he's just playing, man. Like, he's not overthinking this one. You know what I'm saying? And so that's just how he is. Like, I love Zach Clemence. One of the funny Zach Clemence story, Mitch Cole's wife, he has an incredible game like 3 or 4 games ago. Mitch Cole's wife said, Zach, what'd you eat for breakfast? He goes, I just had bacon. Like, didn't realize, like, it's a rhetorical question, That's what you love about him, man. He's just floating along, And but he's powerful. He's confident right now, and obviously he's playing good ball. He's plus 20 on the stat sheet. I mean, think about that. I mean, we won by 3. He plays 24 minutes. He's plus 20 on the stat sheet. Josh Holloway was great in the game. He had 18 minutes in the game. Josh has been up and down. I mean, I had a good talk with Josh yesterday and today. Like, dude, whether it's 2 minutes, 3 minutes, if you want to keep getting minutes, you got to do what the game is called for. He was one of the most dominant players in the game. He played 18 minutes, and it was a 10-point advantage. Huge 10-second call out there. Like, massive, game-changing 10-second call. and really ran the show really well.
What does a win like this just do for overall morale, psyche, as you guys hit this home stretch of regular season?
Look, I think we can look back at that win as a season-defining moment. I really believe that. Like, that's why you watch sports. I was more proud of that win if we came out there and we made 8 threes in that game, and we ended up winning that by more points. Ended up winning that by 15. I really was. I'm more proud of that. That was a season-defining moment. People watch sports. Why do people watch sports? And why are people up there watching sports that may not even know the rules of basketball? Because sports is like it's a simulation of how life is. Like when you think you're down and out, things aren't going your way. Who's going to persevere? Who's going to keep fighting? What kind of human emotions can stay the course? And you've seen our team early in the year. We didn't have that. They stayed with it in a massive moment. People are going to say, "Well, Ole Miss doesn't have a great record." I don't care. That don't mean nothing to me. Those guys played great tonight, and they've been in every single game, right there to beat teams. So they won at Georgia. I promise you, that team was a Sweet 16 team last year with players that were on that team. Like when a team plays well in your league, just like Oklahoma going in there beating a tough Vanderbilt team, you'll look up and LSU's right there at Texas could have won the game last night. When teams play well in your league in the SEC with pros in it, you're in for a night. So that was a great win and a season-defining moment for our group because it was hate to say it, saw someone said it. I never told our guys this, but I'm going to tell you the truth. That was a must-win game. That was a must-win game, and our guys came through.
How important was Marcus's performance in the first half? He's shooting well, and maybe the team as a whole isn't.
Well, Marcus is always going to be ready to hoop. He loves to hoop. There's a couple times he could have drove in there and kicked it out, but he's always ready to go. He looks fresh. He's a competitor. He's one of these guys that you can win or lose with because he's not going to no-show you. Like he's not going to show up to the game and be like, I didn't feel like playing today. And, at the end of the game, I've always said this, most of the time at the end of the game, barring a tactical situation like us going 2-3 zone, you really want to get your best competitors in the game. It's not even have to do with, players sometimes. Like, who are your best competitors? Like Rashawn could go for 21 night, but at the end of the game, Rashawn's going to be in the game because he's a great competitor. Marcus is a great competitor. And that's the guys that you want in the game.
Coach, it seems like Ole Miss has found a way to beat the full court press. Is there some adjustments that needed to be fixed before Oklahoma? I
got to see the numbers. The numbers can be very deceiving on it sometimes. Like, I'd have to go look at it. We're not worried about beating, I'm not concerned, do they beat the press? It's when they attack it, do they turn it over? When they attack it, for example, let me give you this example. All right, let's say that they attack and shoot uncontested layup. Then the next time they come down and they have a 10-second call. Well, or the next time they come down there and they miss a shot on a 2-on-1. It feels like you're getting killed. That's 1 point of possession. And it's like, that's good, right? So I got to go look at the numbers, how it impacted the game. But teams and stuff, they're going to break the press at times, but it's just like, what's the cumulative total wear-down effect of it, and then how does that help our offense? Are they worn down? Were they cross-matched? Are they worn down where we can keep attacking? I don't know. I'll go look at the numbers. They may have kicked our butt tonight. I know at halftime they did not when I looked at halftime. Or we may have been a positive, you know what I'm saying? But I think that's probably one of the most misunderstood areas of basketball that I'm not saying you, I'm just saying in general, that people have a tough time evaluating unless you dive deep into the analytics.
That was Bucky McMillan, a listen in after the win over Ole Miss. That was Bucky McMillan. You could feel his energy. You could feel his excitement. I think it was like 1/3 relief, 1/3 pure joy, and 1/3 he just happiness for his player in the program. But he also had, I think, the story of the year. If you were listening carefully, and I hope I get it right, as he said it about 2-3 minutes ago, but Zach Clemence, after he scored, 20 plus 2-3 games ago, about 2 games ago, and it was one of the coaches' wives asked him what he had for breakfast, and, that's an expression, right? Man, what'd you have for breakfast? It's just an expression, but Zach Clemence, I guess existing in Zach Clemence' world, said bacon. I think that's the story of the year. I'll sit here in the studio, Charles Schwab studio, just loving life hearing that story. What do you have for breakfast? And it's just an expression, man, when you're on fire, existing here. And Zach, bacon. I love that. And when a coach is sharing those kind of moments and stories, he's feeling it, man. He's feeling it good. When we come back, I I got to wrap things up, and if you've been listening in, you know what we're going to finish with. This is the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric on the Zone on Thursday.
The Louie Bellina Show. Dial 979-693-1150. Hello. To visit with him. Hello. Or to win. Hello. On the D4 Land Services Hotline. Dial 979-693-1150.